يا رفاق، دعونا نلقي نظرة على سام شمعون والكلب منطق أكاذيب جديدة.
Sahih Muslim 6666. Instead of 3 sixes, 4 sixes.
No Muslim would die, but Allah would admit in his stead a Jew or a Christian in hellfire.
Wow. Umar bin Abdul Aziz. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz took an oath. He swore, by one besides whom there is no God but he. 3 times his father narrated this from Allah's Messenger. So I heard this 3 times from Abu Burda, that he was told by Muhammad, your prophet, Jew and Christian will be thrown in hell to save you from burning in hell. So they're going to burn in hell for their sins and yours. Yeah, that's Islam. This is Sahih Muslim. Now the Muslim, well, brother, it's Sahih Muslim.
The meaning of this hadith is the same as the hadith narrated by Abu Huraira. For each person there is a place in paradise and a place in hell. When the believer enters paradise, his place in hell is taken over by the non-believer because he deserves that because of his kufr. The meaning of the phrase, your ransom from the fire, is that you could have entered hell, but this is your ransom because Allah has decreed a certain number to fill it. When the non-believers enter hell because of their kufr and sins, this is like a ransom for the Muslims. 2. As for the hadith you have mentioned in your question, which is hadith number 2, the scholars have 2 varying approaches to it, some holding the view this wording is incorrect, whilst others after accepting theses wording have interpreted it in different ways. Amongst the scholars who hold the view this wording is incorrect include Bukhari and Bayhaqi al-Hafiz ibn Hajar. They make the following observations. This hadith is narrated by 8 narrators from Abu Burda, may God be pleased with him, and all of them narrated with the wording of the first or similar wordings. The second wording is only reported by Ghilan ibn Hajar from Abu Burda, who reports from his father. Furthermore, this chain itself has varying versions. Imam Bukhari has reported it with the following chains in his chains al-Tariq al-Kubra. Sometimes some of them say, on the authority of Abu Burda, on the authority of his father, on the authority of the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace. Another says, on the authority of Abu Burda, on the authority of Abdullah bin Yazid. Another says, on the authority of Abu Burda, on the authority of a man among his companions, on the authority of the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace. It came once on the authority of Abu Burda, on the authority of a man from the Ansar, on the authority of his father. And once on the authority of Abu Burda, on the authority of a man from the Ansar, on the authority of some of his family. Then Imam Bukhari indicates this wording is not authentic. 3. Imam Bayhaqi also pointed out another problem with this particular wording. The wording used by Shaddad Abu Talha is unique in his narration of this hadith. It is his saying, and he imposes it on the Christian Jews even though the narrator doubts it, I do not see it as preserved. The infidel is not punished for the sin of others. God Almighty said, no bearer of burden shall bear the burden of another. The wording of the hadith is based on what was narrated by Sa'id bin Abi Burda and others, on the authority of Abi Burda. The wording, the sins will be placed upon the Jews and Christians, are only narrated by Shaddad Abu Talha. Moreover, he narrates the wording saying, I think he said this. Imam Bayhaqi speaking, do not view this narration as preserved correctly, and a non-believer cannot be punished for the sins of others, as Allah, glory be to Allah, tells us in the Quran, no one will carry the sins of another. 4. We learn not only is the wording shaz, but the narrator himself is unsure and uncertain of his narration. Ibn Hajar said the following in Fathul Bari. In the hadith of this chapter and what follows it, which are hadiths under the chapter of retaliation on the day of resurrection, there is an indication of the weakness of the hadith that Muslim reported from the narration of Ghilan bin Jarir, and he mentioned the hadith and quoted from al-Bayhaqi that it was weak. There are other hadith which indicate the wording narrated by Imam Muslim from Ghilan bin Jarir are weak. 5.
Quran 6-164 say, is it other than Allah I should desire as a Lord while He is the Lord of all things? And every soul earns not blame except against itself, and no bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another. Then to your Lord is your return, and He will inform you concerning that over which you used to differ.